What's up, dear viewer? So this is it, part 4. We're almost done. Simon Sinek's speech to some graduating class. Opportunity unlocked. And there isn't much left here. We're kind of not finished the last story he was in, but let's see if we can take out any other key learnings from what his speech does. If you want to know all the other stuff we've learned and kind of pick it apart, watch the other videos, man. In this part, I'm not going to review all the stuff we learned. I might reference it. We'll see how he does.
All the Air Force crew stood in a line at perfect attention. I'm a civilian. I put my hand on my heart. I felt kind of stupid. So I stood at attention with the Air Force crew as the Army laid the
Mimicking.
casket in the middle of the aircraft.
Think back to module 1,
They
the
performed a
first
very
one,
slow
mimicking.
eight-count salute. They marched off the plane, and we watched them hugging and crying as they walked away. The crew got to work strapping this precious cargo down. We then had a 9.5-hour overnight flight back to Germany, where I slept right next to this casket. On every other plane I went on, we talked, we joked. Barely a word was spoken in nearly 10 hours. On every other flight, I visited the cockpit and hung out with the crew. I didn't visit the cockpit once. And I will tell you, it was one of the greatest honors of my life. Having just gone through this incredibly strange experience on the ground, I had the honor of bringing home somebody who understands service much deeper than I will ever understand it.
So now he's getting to the end of his speech. So one of the things that I'm noticing, and you might be picking up on this too, is that there's more. We kind of went crescendo, and now as he gets to it, he's going to slow down even more to make the last few things he says very important. And then he might pick it up a little bit to kind of really nail it home. Let's see if I'm right.
Serve those who serve others, and you will live a life of joy and fulfillment. I'll tell you one more story.
Oh, he's not done. Let's rewind that little part then. Watch the slowness. Watch the slowness.
Experience on the ground. I had the honor of bringing home somebody who understands service much deeper than I will ever understand it.
So watch the slowdown.
Serve those who serve others, and you will live a life of joy and fulfillment.
If you rewind that even more, you'll see that it was even more. It started slowing down even before that. So he's got one more story, huh? Jeez, 3-minute story. This one's going to be a fun one, and I bet you... Okay, let's flip a coin. I may be wrong. I feel like this is going to be an uplifting one, because this one was a very intense downer, but it's a graduating class, so he's probably going to want to leave them on an up note. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, Simon too, everybody. Simon Sinek, everybody. Simon Sinek. Yeah, he's good too. He's good too.
There was an undersecretary who was invited to give a speech at a large conference, about 1,000 people. And he was up there on the stage giving his prepared remarks with his PowerPoint presentation behind him, sipping his coffee from a styrofoam cup.
Can we talk about how now it's all the speeding up again? He's trying to change the energy in the room. He's trying to change, like, everyone's like kind of down and introspective. So now everything's starting back up again, and he's talking fast. It was so slow before, and now he's bringing it up to change everyone's kind of emotional energy.
And upon one of the slides, he looks down and he smiles. And he interrupts himself. He says, last year, I was still the undersecretary, and I spoke at this exact conference. Except last year, as the undersecretary, they flew me here business class. And when I got to the airport, there was somebody waiting for me, and they drove me to the hotel. They had already checked me in, and they took me up to my room. And the next morning, when I came back downstairs, there was somebody waiting in the lobby for me. And they took me to this same venue, where they took me through the back entrance, took me into the green room, and gave me a cup of coffee in a beautiful ceramic cup. He said, I'm no longer the undersecretary. I flew here coach. I took a taxi from the airport to the hotel, and I checked myself in. And this morning, I took another taxi to the venue. I walked in the front door, found my way backstage. And when I asked somebody backstage, do you have any coffee? He pointed to the coffee machine in the corner, and I poured myself a cup of coffee into this here styrofoam cup.
Okay, so this is now going to be repetitive again, but remember, for anyone who's watching this for the first time, one of the best strategies to keep people engaged is you start with uncertainty. So everyone is trying to figure out where you're going. And right now I'm trying to like, okay, this has something to do with like your position in life shouldn't dictate the value you bring. I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out. You are too, right? He paralleled two circumstances, and he's about to get to like a point, another, oh, I see where you're going. So the audience ends with like a bit like, another aha moment. Let's see.
He said the lesson is the ceramic cup was never meant for me. It was meant for the position I held. I deserve a styrofoam cup. You've achieved great things graduating, and you're going to go on to achieve great things. And they will give you accolades, and they will give you awards, and they will give you ceramic
now you
cups.
see where he's going with it, right?
Never lose sight of the fact that we all, always deserve
A styrofoam
cup.
Thank you.
Good luck to you all.
Ends it with another little slogan. Because this is what you have to remember, gang. When people think back, when you think back and you describe the last little story here, you'd be like, oh, he did this great little part about a styrofoam cup and how, like, it's like your position might give you like all this kind of stuff, but we really got to stay humble, I think. That is what people will actually remember. But notice, if I say styrofoam cup, you think of the story and the aspects of the story, and you might all have different definitions and explanations of what the story was, but the cup, the slogan, we all deserve a styrofoam cup, think about that in a couple of days. It'll bring back your general impression. So as Simon Sinek ends with one kind of lasting note, let me end by letting you know this one thing. It doesn't matter if you talk for a minute. Teach a 12-week course. At the end of the day, the smart speaker realizes something. Instead of focusing on all the things you're saying, try to focus on what you think the other person will remember. Focus on what you think that other person, the listener, will repeat to everyone else. And it'll always be two things. One little thing you said, remember, we all deserve a styrofoam cup. And then a general impression of the speech. It was great, And that's what I'm going to walk away with. If I think back on everything from the 4 videos that I've learned, and I say, if you've watched these 4 videos and I say bagel, you're like, oh yeah, that's right. Right away, you can't clearly identify what it was all about, but ideas pop in your head. Styrofoam cup, ideas pop in your head. Repeating sentence structure. You don't exactly remember what I was saying, but you get it. You get the gist of it, because all of us will remember one thing. 1, this video was really interesting, or this video was lame. And 2, one thing I or Mr. Simon said. So I hope you like this breakdown. If you guys like it, please like this video or any of the other ones, and I'll do other speaker breakdowns. Out. Take care.